Welcome to a Genesis Project podcast on Module Mark Entry. Module assessment is the method for entering and recording the results of all assessments of students on taught courses using SITS in TCD and of assessments of taught modules on research and structured PhD courses. Here is an overview of the different assessment stages. Assessment at the most basic level consists of exam questions. The results of exam questions will not be stored in SITS this year. Marks and grades will be recorded in SITS at two levels using the module assessment functionality. They will be recorded at assessment component level, such as assessment 1, 2 and 3 here in this example, and also at module level where an overall module mark will be calculated. The results of lots of modules will give an overall course mark. The overall annual mark will be calculated and, following approval by the Court of Examiners, eventually published. The overall annual mark may possibly lead to an award. Only the stage outlined here will be covered during this part of the project. SITS will process the following this year: results of all assessments of students on taught courses using SITS, assessments of taught modules on research and structured PhD courses, not thesis. Marks will be entered at component level, not exam question level. Marks will be calculated and amended at module level. Marks and/or grades will be recorded for annual supplemental and specials exams as required. Provisional and final marks, which may be different, will be recorded. This has been agreed by both the undergraduate and graduate studies committees. Access to particular modules for mark entry or management or viewing of module marks using the module assessment software is granted only to those TCD staff that have been assigned a module assessment role and have been assigned to that module for the academic year in question. A school or discipline assessment manager may assign any member of TCD staff from any school or discipline to a module in the assessment manager's own area. This facilitates cooperative teaching, especially on interdisciplinary modules. Once you've logged into my.tcd.ie, click on the Assessment menu item. And go to Mark and Grade Management. If you know the module code to which you are assigned, you can enter it here and click Retrieve. If you click on the Retrieve button without entering any module codes, all modules that have been assigned to you will be retrieved. In this instance, I am using the Business module for Training, BU 4501. It shows me that it is the correct year, 2012-2013. There are 15 students on this module and the module is ready for marking. Then click on the Select button. There are three assessment components in this particular module: a term test, coursework by name, and an exam which is marked anonymously. The coursework by name is a marketing case study and doesn't have any grades. It is simply pass or fail. The written exam carries an overall weighting of 80% of the total module marks and has a qualifying mark of 40. That means you must pass the written exam in order to pass this particular module. The other two components have a weighting of 0 and 20% respectively. In order to enter marks for a particular assessment component, select that assessment component by ticking it, and then here changing the display to all students. Then click on Enter Initial Annual Results. Results for the term test can then be entered. It is not necessary to enter the grade, as SITS will automatically assign it, but you may do so if you wish. In this particular instance, the term test is showing records over 2 pages, as there are 15 students listed and 10 per page will be shown. Continue to enter all the module marks for this particular assessment component, and when you have entered all of them, click on Save and Next Page. Once you've clicked on Save and Next Page, SITS will automatically assign a grade. This is accompanied by question marks, as it is up to you to agree that SITS has assigned the correct grade per mark. Once you have reviewed these and they are to your satisfaction, again click on Save and Next Page. Continue to enter the marks until you are finished. Once you've entered all the marks for the term test and agreed the grades, click on Save Page once again, and then Quit Don't Save to return to the module. Now grades can be entered for the marketing case study. No marks are necessary, it is simply pass or fail. So select the marketing case study and then once again click on Enter Initial Annual Results. Tab can be used to go from box to box if only one component is chosen. Once the grades have been entered on this page, click Save and Next Page. Once all the grades have been entered, click Save Page, and after that return once again to the module. The third item for which grades and marks have to be entered is the exam. The exam is marked anonymously, so in this instance we will not see the student names displayed. Another method for entering marks is to export out a spreadsheet, put the marks and grades into the spreadsheet and re-import it, and that is what we will do in this particular case. Go to Select Report, and from the drop-down choose Export Initial Annual Results File and click Run. Choose which assessment component you wish to export the spreadsheet for. In our particular example, it is for the annual exam, which is marked anonymously. The spreadsheet is exported as a CSV file and can be opened in Excel. Please note Firefox does not handle CSV files well. Save the file in Firefox to your desktop and rename it .csv and then open it in Excel. Once the CSV file has been opened, the marks and grades can be entered. No other changes can be made to this spreadsheet. No lines can be added and no extra columns or figures deleted. Simply the marks and grades can be entered. Once the marks have been entered into the spreadsheet can be saved and then imported back into SITS. In my.tcd.ie, click on the Cancel button to return to the overall module. And then go to the Import Results button. Choose the assessment stage. In this particular example, it is the initial assessment. and then browse to the file that you wish to import. Remember, this must be a CSV file and no changes can be made to the spreadsheet. Then click on the Import File button. Once the file has been imported successfully, click on the Return to Selected Module button. We can now view the results for all three assessment components by selecting the three together and clicking on Enter Initial Annual Results. All of the results are now in SITS. The overall module results can be calculated and the results can be finalised. To view this process, please have a look at the podcast Calculating and Finalising Results in SITS. Other training supports available are podcasts, user guides, quick guides, one-on-one training if necessary, web pages. Follow-on queries with regard to assessment can be directed to Dimitri Paraskevas, PARASKD@tcd.ie, telephone extension 4413.